Hello. Hi. Hi, 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 hi. Hello. It's me, Laura Burns. I don't know why I do this, but I like it. And welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before. I'm very glad that you're here. And if you're here for the first time, some jazz hands, welcoming jazz hands. So I'm here. I've been up a very long time today already. It's only 12:25, but I feel there's something in my hair. I feel like I've been up for an entire day already. Oh, hi, people are here. Kimberly, Kaylee, and Mark. Jazz hands. Mark, I've had the hardest time downloading our stupid video. But I think I finally got it figured out. Anyway, y'all, I feel a little rough today. I'm still like in my nightgown because I work from home and nobody tells me to put pants on, and so I don't unless I have to. Anyway, I woke up super early today at like 4 o'clock in the morning and just like have not been. I wasn't able to go back to sleep, so I've been just like doing things, and I feel a little crazy. But we're here because I wanted to talk about a topic that has been requested by actually more than one person, and is something that I have a lot of experience with, and I think that we all do. Like, I'm not unique in this fact, but and it is friendship, as you saw by the title of this video, friendship. And actually, one of the reasons why I feel compelled to talk about it today is because yesterday, somebody that I used to be really close friends with was brought up multiple times in one day, once by me and a few times by other people, and it just brought them back into my mind. And then it got me thinking about all the other friendships that I've had in my life. Anyway, so I'm like, yes, let's talk about this today. Oh my gosh, lots of comments. Kimberly's in love with jazz hands. Mark is team no pants. Mark was wearing the cutest little shorts yesterday. I was like, oh my God, but they were little. Just to see 2 seconds of jazz hands. Well, I'll give you a little extra. Some people was like, you're not doing jazz hands right. One person said that I wasn't doing them right, that this is spirit fingers, not jazz hands. I don't know. Like, this is jazz hands to me. I think it's spirit fingers and jazz hands are actually the same thing. Hot take. I think they're the same thing. Come at me in the comments if you disagree. Hi, Betty. Okay, so I have my coffee. Oh, you can't see. It's the R mug. So we have an R mug and an L mug. Obviously for Richard and Laura. Is it just me, or do you also really like things like with your name on it or with your initials? I think that's a universal, like, most people like that kind of thing. Okay, so friendship, it's whatever I want it to be. I like your attitude. Okay, so let's talk about friendship. Oh my God, what do I even want to say? So I said in the title of this, highs and lows, because friendship can be an amazing relationship. It can make you feel loved and supported and warm, and a good friend can lift you up. But like when you're having drama in your friendship, it can take you so low. And so I want to talk about both of these today. And also, if you're into it, the friend who very, very, very often becomes like the person who does the emotional labor in a friendship. And also the role of the fat friend as the one that smaller friends complain about their bodies to. So, like always we're going to be talking about like fat related things because that's my jam. But just in general, friendships across the board. So I have always prided myself on being a good friend. I'm a Cancer, so I'm like a nurturing person. And so I always want to take care of people and nurture them and help them. And I always want that back in return. And I have found that has not necessarily been the case, that like I haven't always gotten that back from my friends, which is a bummer. And when I was younger, I kind of just put up with that. And I allowed myself to have these friendships where I gave and gave and gave and didn't get the same amount back. And it has only been within the past like decade or so that I have allowed myself to say, you know what, I really care about this person. I love them unconditionally. And if they like need help in the middle of the night, they could call me and I would help them, but I just can't hang out with them on a regular basis because it doesn't make me feel good. I don't leave our interactions like feeling uplifted. And I think, oh, we're having some delay here. I hope it's okay on your end. Anyway, I think that good friendships. So that's been a big issue for me my whole life in friendships, is feeling like I'm like giving way more. Like it doesn't feel like an equal relationship. And part of that is okay, somebody in the comments tell me if it's like super laggy for you, like the video and the audio, because on my screen it looks bananas. But I'm just going to keep talking as if everything was fine. So I think that what I had mentioned before about the fat friend, like being kind of the dumping ground for other people's emotions, for doing the emotional labor, I think that that was definitely the case for me, because I am kind of that intuitive person, or that like an empath, and I can, kind of feel people's energies, and I'm very nurturing, that like, oh, it died. Okay, well, hopefully it's all right now. Anyway, I feel like I kind of taken advantage of, and not that people were like consciously thinking, oh, I'm going to take advantage of Laura because she will just let us, dump all our emotions on her. But I think that people just kind of felt that I would do it. You know what I mean? Oh, you know what? I think I'm downloading something. That's probably dumb to try and download something when I'm doing this. So I paused it. Okay. Here, Leah's here. Laura M is here. Hello, Laura. And Kimberly says it's laggy. So Natasha says, I developed depression and anxiety, which in turn led to agoraphobia because you felt shitty about your weight and your friends dropped you once the novelty wore off. I'm trying to make your comment show. They hold some comments for review. I'm clicking show, but obviously our tech is like, okay. Yeah, and so I have also found that people who, bye Mark, people who deal with depression and anxiety, or like agoraphobia, or have chronic illnesses, very often like their friends who are not maybe like those true friends, or just don't get it, like they kind of fall off because they can't handle the fact that your life is a little different than theirs, or like you need different things. So I've definitely found that that's true for me as well. Obviously, I'm not going to be naming any names during this video, but I will talk about like past friendships that I've had. I had a friend who, we were never super close, but we would, like hang out occasionally. And, like they would always make comments about how I was flaky, or, I never like called them to hang out. But like the reason that I'm like that is because I have a chronic illness. I also have anxiety and depression, and very often when I make plans with someone, I really want to do that thing. I'm pumped about it. I'm ready to go, but it's like, okay, we made a plan for a week from now, and then that time rolls around, and I feel awful, and I can't handle leaving the house that day for a variety of reasons. And so I have to cancel or change the time, or whatever. So I'm flaky. Like people who know me, people who are my friends, like they know, like I'm going to be flaky, and it's not because I'm just a flake. It's because I have issues. I have stuff going on that means that I can't always leave the house when I want to leave the house. And some people can't handle that. And that friendship came to a head when they had messaged me on Instagram asking if I wanted to hang out. And I was like, yes. And then they were like, are you going to say yes and then cancel? And I was like, I mean, I don't know. I don't plan on that happening, but sometimes it happens. And that wasn't good enough for them. And I said, it's been a while now. It's been like a year or so since this happened. So I don't remember exactly, but basically they were like, unless you can promise that you won't do this anymore, like, I don't want to hang out with you. And I said, I can't promise that I won't do that anymore because that's not my reality. But I will really try very hard not to do that, but I can't promise that. And they just stopped talking to me. And so, okay. Yeah, I'm just like remembering that interaction now. It felt really bad. And I get it. It's frustrating to be on the other end of that when that's not your life. So you don't know what it feels like to deal with it. And even if that is your life, it's still frustrating. But yeah, Mary, exactly. A true friend, like a ride or die, like real forever friend is going to give you the space that you need to deal with whatever is going on in your life. So for me, that's like, mental health and physical health issues that keep me from going out. That is also why, I mean, I'm a homebody anyway, but that's also why in general, like if you want to hang out, like if you come to my house, that's the best case scenario. Because like, while I may not be able to like leave my house and go do things, you can come over. And if I have to like disappear for, whatever, a few minutes to like be in the bathroom for a while, we can still hang out, anyway. But that's just to me a really good example of somebody who just couldn't understand or give me the space that I needed to be who I am. Like, I can't change this. There's nothing I can do. So we have some comments. Natasha says, it's exactly that. I couldn't let people emotionally dump on me anymore, and it showed me who I needed and who actually needed me. Yeah, and I think that that's a really good way. Like, if you are a person who has allowed everyone to dump on you for a long time, and you're like, how do I get out of this habit? Because you've set a precedent now. Like, people know, like, oh, I can just go do this. Like, you figure out quickly who are the people that are, I don't want to say expendable, but that can fall off of your whatever circle, fall off the cliff of your circle. That sounds awful. But like the people that if they left your life as friends and you didn't see them anymore, like, is it really going to impact you that much? Like, what were they adding to the friendship in the first place? And it doesn't mean that you hate them at all. It doesn't mean, like, I have no ill feelings towards that person that I was just talking about. I wish them the best. But it feels good not having the stress of knowing that they think that I'm a flake and they can't understand my issues, which is like not that difficult to understand. Like, I don't like to get too TMI, but like my friends know what's going on with my body. Like, I'll tell them. So it's like, if you hear me explain to you what's going on and you still have no empathy for my situation and like can't work around that in order to hang out, like, I don't know that I need you in my life. You know what I mean? Oh, Kimberly, are we similar? You're also a flake. I'm a flake for good reason, for real reasons. Kimberly says, I was not like this when I was younger, but as I get older, it gets worse. I wish I had a few friends, but I don't have friends anymore. Yeah, so that's another thing that we can talk about is like, I feel like I don't really have very many friends. I know a lot of people, and I live in the town where I was born and raised. I've only not lived here for like 4-ish years, and that's when I lived in Baltimore. So I know a lot of people in the town where I live. I'm always running into people that I went to like elementary school with or junior high or high school. So it's like I have a lot of acquaintances, and I have people who are newer in my life that are like kind of friends, but we don't hang out. I see them like at specific events, and that's nice, but like it never progressed beyond that. And not everyone will, but I feel like I don't have the like one or two super close friends that I used to have. And I can talk more about that because, oh my gosh, major drama happened with that. Natasha says, it's bizarre to me that someone who cares for you has that response. Yeah, I think it's just that, like, if you've never dealt, like, for my example, if you've never dealt with chronic illness or mental illness, it's very difficult to understand. Why can't you just leave the house? Like, So, ooh, it's gonna rain. It's like looking very scary and ominous outside. Ooh, fun. Um, so like for me, I would be like, well, I need to be close to a bathroom today because I'm having a flare. And their thing would be like, well, there's a bathroom at the restaurant. Okay. There's a difference between like being out at a restaurant and like going to like pee or like even poop in a bathroom in public. But like if you have an illness and like stuff is happening, you don't want to be in public doing that. That doesn't feel like safe and comfortable. But people don't think about that. Or if somebody doesn't have has never experienced any kind of like social anxiety, they're like, why can't you just come to this event, just come by yourself and like meet people and just like talk. I'm like, oh my god, no. No, like that's not going to work for me. It's not easy. So I think that if people could work harder to just like put themselves in other people's shoes and try to see through their eyes and feel through their body what stuff is like, it would be so much more helpful. But some people just have a really hard time with that, and they may even love you and care about you, but like it's just like really hard for them to do that. Hmm. Okay, Mary says, I think of it as chapters. Some are in it in the beginning, some stay till the middle, and a few are still with me. Yeah, I think that's a really nice way to put it. I think that people come into your life and you can learn from them, you can grow with them or from their experiences, and then some of them are going to leave. And then you meet new people that you can learn from and grow with. And then some of them will leave, and it just keeps going. Like, I think I'm shedding. There are, very few people who you're going to have from like childhood all the way through, old age or however long you live, which is hopefully very long. I have friends from freshman year of high school. I have acquaintances who I used to be closer with who I know from elementary school, which is bananas to me that I still have those people in my life, but we're not super close anymore. My oldest, like closest friend, I've got like a freshman year and then somebody I met in college. Like those are probably my oldest, closest people. But even then, like it's kind of work. You have to make it happen. You have to stay in contact and like really nourish that relationship or else it goes away. And I feel lucky that I seem to be surrounded by people in my life that I can not talk to them or not see them, for a number of years. And then we come back together and it's like nothing, no time has passed. And so that's always a really nice kind of relationship because you can just, it feels easy. You can fall back into it. Let's see. Leah, you love stormy weather. Me too. Also, it means that it's not as hot outside. Leah says there's a difference between, you go and have a nice poo. And I don't know when it's going to stop once it starts. Yeah. Yeah, you want to be in your home bathroom for that kind of thing. You want to feel safe and comfortable and not public. Laura M says dealing with chronic illness and friendship is not always easy. Yeah, for sure. And that's something that I've had to learn. So earlier in my life, like with this person that I was just talking about, I didn't have as many issues. And so I was flaky before for more like social anxiety reasons. And now I'm more flaky for like chronic illness reasons. Borderline awesome. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Silent Peace says, you are so charming and funny and real. Why is hello everyone. Everyone's very complimentary today. My friends are missing out. Well, thank you. And I'm missing out on them too, like all the people in my life who used to be my friend and are not anymore are not bad people. They're amazing, wonderful people with, skills and talent and intelligence and beauty. And I'm missing out on them too. But it's just like, what is worth the work of trying to make that friendship, Laura M says, I love how you see things with focus on self-care, but being kind. Listen, I have had to learn how to have this perspective. And speaking of self-care, Me and Mark are going to film a video talking about self-care on next Monday. So that'll be out probably like this time next week. And I'm excited about that because I have a lot of thoughts about self-care. It's something I talk about all the time. I have to oil my nails while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so yeah, so I think that it is a topic that resonates with a lot of people, like living with mental illness, chronic illness, whatever. Or maybe you're just a flake. Maybe you're just like for no good reason a flake. That's cool too. Listen, you are who you are, and I think that even if you're a flake for no reason, you still deserve to have friends who love and care about you and are patient and kind. So I think that it's like, it's like finding the right romantic partner. If that's what you're interested in finding, it's like you have to find the right person for you or the right people for you, who can see the challenges in finding time to be with you, or the struggle, and make it work, because they want to spend time with you bad enough that they will get over your flakiness or whatever your issue is. Anyway, Mary says, unfortunately, life flies by while we're dealing with these issues. Yep. And I don't know that it's unfortunate. I think it's kind of good. Time goes by, we get older, people move in and out of our lives, but like that keeps stuff moving along. I think about how I was, the kind of person I was when I was younger, and the way that I let my friends treat me. I'm glad that time moved on. I'm glad that people fell off the cliff. Because that sucked. It wasn't great. Things are much better now. For me, and I can only ever speak for myself, life, it's starting. Life gets better the older I get. I like myself more and more as a person. I think that I am a better person. I think that I am kinder and gentler with myself and with others. So I'm happy that time, keeps chugging along, and that I kind of see it, it's like time is like a river, and you're like tubing on the river. So you just have to go with the flow. And every once in a while, other people in their tubes come up next to you, and then they kind of go away, and then other people, and, I don't know. That always comes to my mind when I think about stuff like this. So Natasha asked, do you think your weight has ever affected your friend's opinion of you? Of course, for sure. Yeah, let's see, when I was younger, it felt more overt, and that's because, like junior high school kids are like kind of, bastards a little bit. And even people that like you can be mean. And when you're young, you don't yet maybe have the tools to be able to articulate yourself, and so you get mad, and instead of like talking about why you're mad, you like say something fat phobic or like terrible in another way. I think that for most of my life, I didn't have a lot of fat friends. I was always the fattest one in the friend group, always. And so for sure, I'm sure that it changed people's perception of me. I think that I was the fat one. I was the funny one. I was the one who was willing to like do the shit work, like, oh, if we want to plan, something, like, oh, Laura will plan it. It's just like, it was like I like subconsciously, I didn't feel like I deserved maybe to be equal to everyone else. And so, you teach people how to treat you. And so I taught people to treat me not as great. And not that they were like being and feeling like we're going to be mean and shitty, but just like, it just happens, like power dynamics in relationships. They just happen. And so, yes, as an adult, I'm sure it has also, I have a lot more fat friends now. And so I would hope that the size of my body or how much I weigh is less of an issue, and it comes into play less. But yeah, I think that when I was younger, for sure, I think that I was like the ugly one. And so sometimes people felt like they wanted to hang out with me because it made them feel better about themselves, because they could always be like, well, at least I'm not her. I can think of a couple people maybe who had that kind of motivation to spend more time with me or to take me to certain events. Like, oh, I'm going to take Laura to this party because she's fun to be around, but also like I don't have to worry about like her being competition for me if I'm trying to like hook up with someone. I think that that is probably true and feels sad to say. That feels not great, but I think that it's probably true. Mary says, maybe it's because I'm 56 and I'm starting to look back and see things I wish I had done differently. Oh, girl, yes, I see lots of things that I wish I had done differently. Oh my God. Listen, I don't want to relive my younger years, but I wish that I had done things differently for sure. I don't know if it's how I was raised. When I was growing up, my dad would always say, like, I was always getting in trouble. My Ooh, thunder. My brother and I were like bad kids. And I really appreciate about my dad that he would be like, I would be thinking, oh man, I am going to be punished so hard for this. And my dad, I think, realized that I beat myself up more than like they could ever punish me. And so I would get punished, you know, but like it wasn't too bad. But he would try to talk to me about like whatever I had done this time. Like, oh my God, bad things. And he would really like try to hammer home to me that you've already done the thing. Whatever you did, it already happened. There's literally no way that you can change the outcome. There's nothing you can do about whatever thing that you did that you regret that you did. All you can do is learn from it and try not to make the same mistake again in the future. And he would always, you know, like say some version of that to me, and it really has stuck with me. And so I have that perspective about life now. Do I wish I had done things differently? Hell yes. But I know there's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is try not to do those things again. And like when I inevitably do them again, remind myself, Laura Burns, don't do that again. What can you do? Like, how can you work on yourself so that you don't do those things again? Let's see. Leah said, oh God, stop moving. Leah says, someone told me a long time ago, every new friendship we undertake is a new responsibility. Oh, a new responsibility. It has to work both ways, though. I feel most chronically ill people have more empathy than many of our friends. Yeah, because I think that's true. Because we have to deal with so much, like, we're already thinking about. It's like when you're a fat person, you have to deal with so much, like, bad attitude and garbage being thrown at you. Hopefully not literally, but I'm sure sometimes literally. That you already have a heightened sense of like thinking about what other people might be going through, you know? So that's why I think like people who are like thin or even just like, you know, average size, but like definitely thin people, white people, people with money, people who just really, or people who just have managed to like kind of skate through life and like everyone has problems. Literally everyone has problems. I don't care how thin or rich or, you know, like white you are, like everyone has problems, but there are certainly people who have fewer problems who manage to move through life and navigate the world with more ease than others. And I think those people have a harder time understanding other people's challenges because they've just never had to really deal with anything, you know, super difficult about their body or their family or their life or, you know, like whatever. I'm shedding so much. I keep finding hairs on me. Okay. Kim is here. Hi, Kim. Leah says the perception when we're school-aged in friendships and romantic relationships is often almost as though those people are doing something magnanimous by accepting the fact. Yeah, they're like doing you a favor. Yeah, I've felt that way before in friendships with like, I had a friend when I was in high school who was like very conventionally beautiful, like model gorgeous, you know, just like think of a beautiful woman and like she probably looks like that. And she befriended me and sometimes it felt like I was her project, you know? So she was actually one of the people I was thinking of when I said who spent time with me, like, because it made her feel better about herself. And I definitely like felt like her project. I was like her ugly fat friend. Before the DUF apparently was an acronym, the designated ugly fat friend. I think I was the ugly fat friend, and I didn't know. I didn't know there was a name for it. God. But yeah, and I think that she was like, oh, I'm such a good person because I'm gonna be friends with this, poor ugly fat girl. Whatever. Kim says, I wouldn't go back to my middle and high school years, not for anything. Girl, same. Not for anything. Worst time. Worst time. It was hard, but it helped you. It helped you be me now. Plus, nope, I'm not dealing with that bullshit again. Yeah. Yeah. I think that all of the, oh my God. All of the bad stuff that happened when I was younger, all of the teasing and bullying and microaggressions and outright aggression and fat phobia and racism and everything, it has made me who I am. I think that I'm more capable of dealing with life because I've been through these things. I'm adaptable and I don't know. I mean, it sucked, but it made me a stronger person, I guess, is the point. So yeah, Kim, I hear you. Hi, Lisa. Laura M says, for me, health, weight, family, work, friends, so hard to manage. Yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot of things that you just said. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it's like, is there ever a point where like everything is smooth sailing, where it's like, oh, my health is great and I feel good about my body and my family is doing well and work is good and my friends are good and like, oh, like there's always going to be something, it's like nothing is ever just smooth all the way across the board because we're human beings and it doesn't work like that. Hello, other Kim. We have a number of Kims here today. Leah says, high school, I would go back to. I cared less than I do now. I wish I had that stoic confidence. Excuse me. You cared less then. Oh, I cared so much then. I mean, I like the F's that I don't give now outweigh when I was in high school. I cared so much in high school. I was so insecure, and I thought I was the ugliest, grossest, like fattest person. And Leah, I think the cool thing though is that that you don't have that like kind of that you care more now and on it. I think that when we don't realize those things, it's problematic. Maybe for 15 minutes. What, Mary, going back to high school for 15 minutes? Leah became a kinder, more gentler person, and that's good for you, but all of your old defenses are gone. I mean, that can be a good thing, though. Like, I was much more, I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, but I was much more defensive when I was younger. I was so quick to be defensive. As I've gotten older, I'm so much more willing to be vulnerable with people. And sometimes that's great. And sometimes they take advantage of that. And I've had to learn to, be able to cope and self-care myself out of, a bad place if I'm vulnerable to someone who takes advantage of that. Okay, so let's see. I should have made notes, y'all, because I have such a bad memory. So friendship highs. Oh, I was going to tell you about the person that got brought up multiple times yesterday. So I actually made a whole video about this. If you want to watch like the long explanation of this, you can go back through my old videos, and it's a story time video that's like friend drama or something like that. And I tell you the whole story. But the short version that I will tell you now is up until a few years ago, I was really close friends with this girl, and I really held her up high in my mind. And it's interesting because now that we are not friends anymore, and it's been a few years, I'm starting to see, number one, that there are cracks in the pedestal and she's falling a little bit down, but also that it's not fair to put, it's a reminder that it's not fair to put people up here, because you're not really doing a service to them or to yourself by putting people up on a pedestal. Anyway, but this person, we were like really tight. And I am a person who, while I have a lot of acquaintances and I know a lot of people, when it comes to like real, like close friends, I will have very few, like 1, 2, 3, maybe. But like, these are the people who really know what's going on with me, who I will tell everything to, the people that I, will turn to when I'm upset. Despite the fact that I put my business out on the internet, the things that are really truly bothering me, or like that I'm really struggling with hard, like I don't put that out on the internet. I'm very private about those things. And then like maybe later, after I've worked on it and worked through it, then I'll talk about it more publicly. But now that person is no longer in my life because they ghosted me, and it took me literally almost 3 years to get over it and to not think about them all the time or cry when I think about them. Like, it was like that tight of a friendship. It's like, like those friendships that it feels so intimate because you talk about everything and you see them all the time, you talk to them all the time, and it just feels like you're my sister, or or your brother, or like a partner, but not romantic. Friendships can be very, very close. Anyway, it's taken me almost 3 years to get to the point where I don't feel that sense of loss. Like, I'm not grieving anymore that friendship. But yeah, it took me that long. It took a really long time. I don't remember why I started talking about this. I was just telling you about it, I think. Anyway, so it was like very high. There was a really high time where it was great. And I felt like, what a good friendship. And, we're such a good match and we have so much fun together and we're going to be friends forever. We're going to be friends forever. And then such a low after she moved and ghosted me, and I had no closure or anything. And it was just like, all of a sudden, we're not friends anymore. And that was such a low point. And it really triggered for me these old feelings of not feeling worthy of having a good friend, like way back, like hearkening back to like junior high and high school times. And that was really difficult. And that, I think, was part of the reason why it was so hard to like get over her. It's like, oh, like I grieved her and the loss of that friendship longer than I have grieved most of my romantic relationships that I've ever had. Oh no, that was longer than any like, post breakup sadness that I've ever had. It was worse. It was much worse. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was awful. So I don't know that everyone will have had that experience, but, it was really hard on me. And what is worse is that right before that happened, like maybe 6 months or so, somebody that we were both friends with had stopped being friends with me, and really had shaken the core of my self-perception, and like told me I was a bad friend, and like said all this stuff to me that like I didn't think was true, but they said it and they were so with such conviction, and I just believed it. And that this person, my friend who ghosted me after they moved away and it was a big deal, they saw me through that. They know how hard that hit me. And then when they wanted to not be friends with me anymore, they did it in such a terrible, harsh way that like, again, made me feel the same way. It's like, oh, it was awful. It was a really low time. Okay, I have some comments. Lisa says, I work in a hospice and believe me, how someone looks is the bottom of the list for all our patients. Being in that environment has completely altered my sense of life, my sense of self and life. Leah says, well, I'm 39 years old. If I punched someone in the mouth for saying horrible things, now I would go to jail. I know. Use my words, but it made people stop. Well, yeah, I don't advocate for you punching people. Oh my gosh. Leah, please don't punch anyone. Oh my god. Oh, I keep touching my face. I'm very moisturized. For anyone who watched my latest beauty box, this is not at all on topic. For anyone who watched my latest beauty boxing, I've been using that Nuria eye cream morning and night every day, and I love it. I love it, and I really am feeling very hydrated in my under eyes. And I'm realizing that that applicator is the reason why I'm using it consistently. I think any eye cream is going to be good, but the ones where you have to use your finger, I don't like using it, and so I don't use it consistently. But this one, twice a day, every day, I'm like, yeah, putting it on. All right. So if you have trouble like making yourself put on eye cream, maybe look into something like that has that little applicator. Okay, end of my caveat about eye cream. Okay, good. Leah promises not to punch anyone. Thank you, Leah. So friendship, highs and lows, we've talked about, and the fat aspect. So I don't know, does it resonate with anyone, the like being the fat friend that everybody kind of goes to for the emotional labor, and expecting you to listen? Or does anyone have the situation where you are the fat friend and your thin friends like vent to you about how they don't like their body, and it's like, or they think they're fat or whatever, and they expect you to listen to that and to like soothe them about it? That has happened to me so much in my life, and not only to me, to a lot of people. Actually, our book club just read Happy Fat by Sophie Hagen, which I recommend reading if you're at all interested in a book about being fat and living your life and not hating yourself. And she had mentioned, I think multiple times, just about like the emotional labor that fat people are kind of made to do in friendships, especially among women, and especially where a thin friend comes to a fat friend and wants to complain about how fat they feel and how they hate their thighs and blah, 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 blah. And the fat friend is expected to do that emotional labor. And it's like worse. It's like a thin friend talking to another thin friend about that. It still sucks, right? Because you have to like manage this other person's emotional state and give them what they want, which is to be soothed. And, oh, you're not fat. But when you are a fat person, literally what you're coming to me and saying is, oh, I'm so upset because my body is looking, because I think my body looks any amount like yours. And I'm then, expected to soothe you and comfort you for that. Oh my God. Leah says there are other eye creams with good applicators. Some are even little cooling metal balls. I've seen that before. I've never tried one, but that's very appealing. I like the idea of like the depuffing from the metal, which even if you don't keep it in the fridge, it's going to feel cool on your face. I have a roller that when I put my moisturizer on, and then with eye cream, I use the big side all over, and then I have been trying to use the smaller roller side on my under eyes to get that same kind of effect. But I like the idea of an eye cream that just has that on it. Do you have any recommendations for an eye cream that has that? At any time, it doesn't have to be now, if you think of one. Mary says, I had a thin friend who was whining about being 5 pounds too heavy. You told her to cut her hair. That's good. I like that. That's funny. Natasha, you comforting them because they feel bigger and it's meant to be really bad, but I've had thinner friends say this to me and end with no offense. Yeah. Listen, if you have to say no offense, don't say the thing that you were going to say. Like, what? No offense doesn't just like wipe the slate clean and take away the microaggression of you coming to me and saying this. It just, what it is actually worse, because it tells me that you shouldn't have said that, but you said it anyway because you wanted to, which is so selfish. So selfish. Oh, I'm like getting mad. Okay. Kim says, my 2 best friends of 30 plus years have all gone up and down in weight numerous times. We are on various places on the scale, but we still don't have that. I fully understand how blessed I am. Yeah, that's good. You're very lucky, because that kind of a situation where everyone is kind of up and down with their weight is like ripe for that kind of a situation where they come to you and expect that, for sure. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't have that in my life now because I have surrounded myself with people who don't operate like that, which I think is like hashtag friendship goals, right? Like, I feel like I've done a pretty good job of surrounding myself with people who get me and my body and my challenges. But at this time, I don't think that I have that close person or people anymore. Like, my husband is my best friend. And thank God I have a good relationship with him and that he really feels like my best friend. So I have somebody, but I don't have, outside of my romantic relationship, I don't have that person or people anymore that are like so tight. And it'll happen again, but I know what it feels like to have that, and it feels so good. And I miss the highs. I don't miss those lows, because y'all, it was so bad. Leah says, what I love is when you have had a bad body day and your thin friend says, but you're not fat. No, honey, I am fat. That's not the issue. The issue is the way the world treats me because I'm fat. Yes, exactly. Oh my God. All the times when I was younger and I would be like, I'm so fat. And people would be like, you're not fat, you're beautiful. And to me, like, because I was real into diet culture at the time, that was like a balm, like, you're not fat, you're beautiful. And then now when I think back on that, I'm like, I cringe. I'm like, oh, it's like I was fat and that's okay. And I was beautiful. I was fat and I was beautiful. Like, oh, I'm so happy to be in the place that I am now. I'm the fattest I've ever been, but I'm also the fucking happiest I've ever been and the most self-loving and self-accepting that I've ever been. I recognize that my body changes over time, that I will in my life be smaller, I might be larger, and that at no point will the size of my body like designate my level of self-worth. Holy crap. It was really hard to get there. That's so amazing to me. Man, it was hard. But yeah, that's why I'm like, oh, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back at all. Natasha says, exactly, because they want to dump on you when they need it. But if I ever asked for that, I got told different diets, or one friend even signed me up for a weight loss group behind my back. Oh my God. That's terrible. I'm sorry that happened. That's awful. Oh, that is not a friend. That is not a good friend. Oh my God. And she probably was like, this is for her own good. I'm doing this because I care. If you cared, that is not how you would treat me. Okay. Kim says, I'd have punched that friend and Leah would help me. We have to stop advocating violence. That's exactly what she said, that it was for your own good and that she was just trying to help you. Yeah. I need a disclaimer for this video that I don't advocate violence. Listen, I think about punching people. I just would not actually punch a person. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, it's almost been 50 minutes, y'all. These always go so fast. Does anybody else have any topics that you want to do for a coffee talk? Because this one came out of requests from people. I'm literally crossing it off my list. I keep a running list of topics that people want, and I do my very best to do them. I'm excited because yesterday, me and Mark, who you may know, or you may be like, who is this Mark she keeps talking about? My friend Mark, who is also a fat yoga teacher, and he's just my friend. And we got together yesterday and recorded us having a conversation about the new Weight Watchers Kids app. So that's what I was downloading, the footage of us that we recorded on Skype. So I'm downloading that today. I want to have that up tomorrow. I should be able to have it up by then, as long as this download went through and is not screwing me around like it's been. I've had a very hard time getting it. That's a topic that's coming. And then we're going to talk about self-care on Monday. So that's coming down the pike. If you have anything that you want to talk about, tell me. Kim has never punched anyone. You're almost 45. Is this like a bucket list item for you, Kim? Punch somebody. Sorry, I keep laughing and then my belly shakes my desk. Oh my God, which is like shaking the camera. Okay. Leah, violence is bad and it's not the adult way we deal with bullies. Okay, but I have a very active imagination. Girl, yes. Mm-hmm. Doing it, Mary says doing it in your head is okay. Okay, good. Laura has a topic, re-entering the workforce while fat. Yeah, actually, somebody else had asked about doing one about fat phobia at work, and it didn't make it on the list. Okay, this is the post-it. I need a new one because it's getting a little intense looking, but I'm writing it down. Coffee talk, fat at work. Great topic idea. Yes, Kim, I agree with your sentiments. Sorry, it's heavy trash day, and it's so interesting to watch them do it. Anyway, da da da. Leah says that is an excellent topic. Christy Fuller says, "Is Weight Watchers really a diet? Oh, or is it trying to teach more balanced nutrition? I've never tried it and don't plan to, as I am an introvert and don't want to talk about my shit with others." Oh, Christy, it is a diet for sure. And we actually talked about this in our video, but just to talk about what you asked. So weight loss companies realize now that like dieting is like not as cool, or, not as like, that people are starting to realize that diets don't work, and that they don't want to necessarily be associated with that. And so they're talking about things as like, oh, it's, the way of eating, it's like your way of eating, or it's a lifestyle change, or words like that. But it's the same old thing. It's still a diet. It's just a diet in different terms. So yes, it's 100% a diet. Okay, Betty is seconding work as a topic. Okay. I might need y'all to really help reinforce that, because I haven't worked in an office in getting close to a decade now. So I've been on my own, working from home and out of my nightgown. So I am a little rusty with this. So like, definitely, if we do that, maybe I'll try to give everyone a heads up of like the day and the time that I'm going to go live and talk about it, and you can try and be here. Because I don't know that I have like a ton to say about it, or a lot of recent experience. Sandy, hey, hi Sandy. Would love to talk about how to delicately deal with friends or family that won't stop steering the conversation topic to dieting. Woo, yes. I think we've talked about this one before, but it's been a while. Oh, I have to go on the back now. Dealing with family and diet talk. Yeah, and this is actually applicable to work also, delicately dealing with people talking about dieting, because as I recall, the work, y'all, these hairs, the workplace is full of food morality and diet culture and weird competitive body stuff. I don't know, like gross stuff. Yeah, but like great suggestion. We'll certainly do that one. Mary, squirrel. I know, I'm bad. Leah says, Weight Watchers sells the same crap processed food that you can get at any store. They just cut down the portion size, and when you go to the meetings, you're bombarded with tables full of branded snacks. Kim says, Sandy, I can't help you with delicate. I tell them point blank with zero filter, no ma'am, we're not talking about this. That's very on brand for Kim Coyle, let me just tell you. Having known this person, having known Kim in real life. And that works for some people, but some people like me are not comfortable being all blah, 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 So Sandy, I think you and I have kind of a similar, I would like to delicately say that I'm just not good with confrontation. And like, I totally respect the whole, like, listen, we're just not going to talk about this. But I like could never, I just can't, I can't do it. I wish that I could. I would like to have a little more Kim Coyle in my attitude. Michelle says, Sandy, I also hate it when family seems to hyperwatch how much I eat. They act like I'm letting them down if I have another cookie. Leah says, how you deal with diet culture at work is bring cake. Sandy says, I've been experimenting with going vegan for a month, and my mother-in-law just keeps asking if I've lost weight yet, which was never the goal. The goal was to learn to cook more veggies. Oh my God. Oh my God. F off. But I would never say that to her. I would never say that. In my head, I would be like, go away. Sandy, try talking about how you feel physically. Kim was sassy to her 96-year-old grandmother. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, so maybe that's a good one for us to do soon because y'all have lots of good advice. And I think I could use advice about that too. I have people in my life who try to comment about, not anyone who's like super close to me, but people that I have to see on a regular basis who make comments about food or my body. Yeah, so I need help too. Okay. All right, I'm going to wrap this up because we're almost at an hour. And are you married? Are you talking to me, Susan? I am married, if you're asking me. To Richard. Okay, so thank you, whoever was here live and has been watching this. Thank you for being here and contributing. Like, these would not be good at all if y'all weren't here to ask questions and to share your experiences and to talk with me. So thank you very much for being here live. I would just not do these if y'all didn't show up for them. And then if you're watching this later, not live, please comment below. Like, whenever you have something to chime in, comment, because I know that other people come back and look at the comments. I come back and look at the comments and respond. So just because you weren't here live, it doesn't mean that you can't participate. And as y'all know, or maybe you don't if you're new here, I'm really trying to cultivate a real community. And a lot of that is built through commenting through the comments. And so please do if you feel compelled to. Obviously, it's not mandatory. But I think that we all learn so much by listening to each other and hearing different perspectives and experiences. So yeah. Oh, I don't like waving. I can just talk. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really glad you were here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.